What's up, guys? We're here with Mark, Esports Director in UCI. Mark, thank you for your time and tell us a bit about how did you get to be an Esports Director in UCI? What is your journey?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, our esports program has been around for 7 full years. We're about to start our 8th year this fall. And essentially, back in 2015, a few campus colleagues and I saw an opportunity for UCI to be a leader in our growing world of esports. We saw that games were widely popular. We saw other schools just starting their first esports programs out there. We saw our students really thriving competitively and winning championships before official championships even existed. They were renting buses to follow our teams and creating home court advantages. And so we thought esports was an opportunity for UCI, but one that fit our student interest, our student population. And we thought of it as a cool way to innovate and be leaders. And so, long story short, we put a business plan together. We got campus colleagues buy-in. We found some really excellent partners from the industry to help us fund our initial investment. And after a year and a half of discussing and building and working, we opened our doors in the fall of 2016.
Great, great. And what are your partners and sponsors that benefit the students in the program? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, we've had a lot of awesome partners over the years. Our biggest sponsor has been iBuyPower, so a system integrator. They make wonderful gaming PCs, so they provided equipment and cash for us to build out our arena. We have Logitech, who does obviously really amazing gaming gear, keyboards, mice, headphones, mouse pads, webcams, things like that. They've been very generous and supportive of us over the years. We have our campus-wide beverage provider, Pepsi. They've been a huge supporter of us, and we've had some other cool partners come and go over the years. But so there's some of the ones that have helped us and give us the equipment and the capacity to compete.
That's great. That's great. And do you also offer students internship or job opportunities when they graduate in those companies and others? Can you explain about after graduation, how can they benefit from UCI and the esports program?
Yeah, well, one of the things that makes UCI's esports program really unique is that we really focus on graduation. So if you come and you participate in our program, you're going to earn a degree. We have a 94% graduation rate for our athletes. Our student staff and interns have a higher graduation rate, and that's very uncommon in collegiate esports. Not many universities put that kind of an emphasis on earning a degree. But we have lots of career opportunities. So we have student staff that are getting paid work experience with us. We have our athletes who are on scholarship. We have interns doing graphic design, team management, production, social media, all kinds of things like that. We have job boards, so companies can recruit our athletes and our students for internships and jobs. We help all our students come up with resumes so that they're ready to kind of apply and put a professional foot forward when it comes to earning one of those opportunities. So we do a lot. Careers is actually one of our 4 pillars of our program. And so we do invest a lot of effort to help students get where they want to go.
That's great, Mark. That's great. And also, when you interview students and when you're looking if the student is would be potentially a great fit, what other soft skills or what in the interview, what are you looking for in a player to have? You know, so for you to say, okay, this student could be compatible with the other students and with the philosophy of my sports program.
Yeah, so we do recruit athletes. We have about 24, 25 athletes in any given year, and they are playing League of Legends, Valorant, and Overwatch 2 for us. Um, so when we recruit them, yeah, first of all, you have to be really good at the game, like very, very good, played competitively, be the highest ranked out there. You need to be specialized in a role, but also have the ability to play all the important heroes, champions, agents in all those different roles. Once you have that criteria, which again is a very high bar, we're only recruiting a few students a year. Um, then we do have a sit down conversation and get to know the student. We understand their academic background. All our students, if you're coming to UCI, you have to be a really excellent student. You have to have done really well in high school, earned a degree, and demonstrate to us that you're committed to earning a degree and that you're going to succeed academically when you get here. In terms of social skills and kind of soft skills, we want people who are willing to be really great teammates, that have a kind of learning and growth mentality, that are coachable. I think a lot of students, in our experience, may have had, I don't know, varying levels of coaching and background. And I think we can work with a lot of different raw students in terms of developing social skills. But I think the most important kind of soft skills and qualities we're looking for is that you're willing to grow, willing to be coached, willing to learn, willing to change and adapt. If you're set in your ways and those ways don't really align with us, it can be a challenge to work with them. But things that we care about, we want you to be a good communicator, but we can teach that. We want you to be able to articulate what you want, what you need, both in game and out of game. Be okay resolving conflict. Conflict is inevitable. We want people to be able to kind of engage with that, not hold it in and like hold it against their teammates, but have a productive conversation. But much of that stuff, we are going to support students with support structure to build those skills. But I think the raw skills we're looking at is willingness to grow, a commitment to education, and a passion and talent for the game.
Okay, from everything you said right now of the skills a student, both academically and esports, is there anything else that a student, for example, we have students that are working with us like 2 years prior in the exam preparation and everything in the process, or 1 year prior. Is there anything else that you would advise them, like for them to have, to be admitted in UC? That is not easy, and then for you to recruit them in this program as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, so we're only recruiting athletes, but we have all those other students, right? We have front desk staff, we have interns, and we don't recruit those. So those are recruited from the UCI student body. So you can come,
Mhm.
get into UCI, and then apply for those opportunities. But the ones we're recruiting, um, I would say oftentimes we advise people to play competitively. So oftentimes they're really good in solo queue, or they've had some high rankings here and there. But being on a team and getting coaching and learning to work and play as a team is a different experience. And so having that background is really helpful. Um, and then, I mean, I would say staying in touch with our coach. Once we kind of have you on our radar, we think you have the mechanical skills and interest. Then, yeah, work with our coach, get some coaching feedback, review your own footage, um, and try to improve and find small ways to get better at the game. I think those would be my major piece of advice.
That's great. And another question some students always have, like, and mostly parents, is so when there's a competition interfering with class or an exam, how is the communication between the esports program and the professors to communicate that? Or is it the students that have to communicate in advance that they have this schedule, and how does it work?
Yeah, so I mean, school comes first here. It is a challenge when there's some overlap. Typically, we practice nights and weekends. And that's typically when our competitions are. I mean, we will not schedule practices on top of classes and expect students to miss class for practice. If there is a conflict, and it happens occasionally, not even every year, it is up to the students to understand their school schedule. We try to understand that as well. And the professors have full control over how they want to handle that situation. But we are able to help advise a student on how to approach the professor, how to indicate that this is an official UCI
Mhm.
school sanctioned team event. Um, for official team stuff, I've seen every single time professors have been understanding and willing to be flexible. But usually that means extra work on the student, means either taking the test early or finishing their work early, or having someone on the staff proctor an exam. So playing for our teams means extra work for students. It means you have to be really excellent at time management, and be willing to go through those, jump through those hoops if and when they come. But we haven't seen class schedule really inhibit our team's ability to compete. Most faculty are pretty understanding and willing to work with us.
That's great. That's great. And from when you mentioned like the skills also that you require from the students, what would you say like one main thing that the students in your esport program benefit the most from other students in UCA that are not in the esport program when they graduate? Like, what is the thing that they take when they graduate from the esport program that they wouldn't learn?
Well, I think I mean our program is extracurricular, so it's something that happens in
Mhm.
addition to class. I think it's a really awesome experience for people to play a game they love, get coaching, being in this exciting competitive team environment where everyone's working hard to be the best version of themselves to create the best team we can assemble. So I think we see our students graduate at a higher rate than general students at UCI. They have higher grades. They're more engaged. They may have better feelings about their time at UCI than the average student, but they have a family, they have a community, they have people looking out for them. Our students, as I mentioned, graduate, and many of them, because of their strong academic backgrounds and focus on school here, they go on to do whatever they want to do, whether it's law school or medical school or getting a great job or internship. And so, yeah, I think being a part of our program really makes the school experience fun, helps you find community, which is so important to your success. And then when you do want to go into the esports world, our name UCI is a really well-known entity in esports, especially in our Southern California area, which has so many opportunities in the video game and esports world. So the name of our university and participating in our program certainly helps our students get interviews and earn positions.
Yeah, and internationally too as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and also like, have you had students that have been like went pro or went to work in the esports sector? Does UCI provide internship opportunities in like professional teams or organizations involved in the esports sector?
I mean, UCI doesn't provide them. A lot of people recruit our students. I will say we do have
Okay.
a jobs board. So if you work in our program or are a student at UCI, we're posting regularly internships, opportunities to test new ideas, new games, new products, um, both paid and unpaid, all kinds of different little things. Certainly, some colleagues in the industry will let me know that they have openings. But yeah, we've had a lot of students go work for professional esports teams, the who's who of professional esports teams: Cloud9, Team Solo Mid, 100 Thieves, FlyQuest. So lots of people are going in there doing content creation, they're doing business, they're doing marketing. We have some athletes that try to go pro after UCI. My observation is that going to college is not the best path to become a professional esports athlete.
Mhm.
Um, you don't have the time to play enough to get as good as the people who are not going to college. And actually, we get more students coming from professional teams to UCI to be a student, earn a degree, play here than we do coming from high school, coming to UCI, and then going to pro. Even though some are aspiring to that, we have several students who want to go pro from UCI. I just don't think it's the optimal path for that.
Okay, and can you also like explain like the infrastructure that UCI has, like for the students to compete and practice?
Yeah, we have everything a student could ever imagine from any other university. We have a beautiful
Mhm.
facility where people can play and practice all day, every day. They get peripherals from our partners at Logitech. They have paid coaches who have been working in the professional scene and will help them improve individually and as a team. We always have a team psychologist, so our teams are meeting regularly
Okay.
with a team psychologist to work through kind of building a team identity and working on communication, aligning values, handling conflict. We've had an exercise physiologist over the years, so students get have had personal training and opportunities to kind of improve their health and wellness. So we'll have lectures on sleep and nutrition in addition to personal training. Um, and so really robust support. And we also have academic support, someone meeting with our incoming students on a weekly or biweekly basis to make sure they understand when their assignments are, they're going to class, And so it's no surprise that they all do pretty well academically because we're keeping an eye on that. So we try to support our students with all the things they need to keep stress low so that they can play games and be relaxed and in the zone. Yeah, we're always trying to find a way to iterate and make that better.
With all this like facilities and like psychologists, nutritionists, like academic supports, and then practice, like how does a day to day look for a student player in UCI?
Well, I'll talk about the week. So typically we're looking at for about 15 hours a week of engagement from our athletes. And so compare that to professional teams, we're looking at 10 or 12 hours a day. It's a lot less. Uh, so our students will probably have 3 practices a week, 3 scrim blocks that could be 2 or 3 hours each. They'll have at least one-on-one with our coach to kind of look at their video replays, kind of set some personal goals, work on improvement individually. We may have a match or two. You may have a team psychologist meeting. You may have a kind of a workout scheduled. So that's the official stuff we have planned throughout the week. And so we sprinkle that on, usually nights and weekends. And then we do need students to play a lot of solo queue on top of that. So they're keeping their skills up, doing those, playing probably an hour or two a day of solo queue to keep their skills up and continue to improve. So, but yeah, students will come into the arena. They might have breakfast here. They'll have a snack while doing some homework in the morning or watching a video or watching a lecture. They'll go to class. They'll come back, play some solo queue here, maybe have a practice, maybe a match, and then go home, study, work out, live their normal life. So we're trying to be a part of a well-balanced life, even though it's kind of hard to balance everything when we're asking so much of them. But that's kind of like kind of the expectation from a student's time commitment wise.
That's great. And also something they really ask a lot is like during the year, to how many LAN events do you go? Because this in-person thing, especially for international students, they wanna like also compete against other universities, meet other players. Like ho- during the year, like to how many? It may depend year by year, but like on average, like how many LAN events do you go to?
Just a few. We go to one every year with the other UC schools. So there's 9 UC schools. We help lead a UC wide tournament, and our teams always qualify for the live LAN event there. And then we try to travel to other local stuff that's like reasonably distant within an hour or two of us. And then for the major tournaments and events, often they'll have a live Final Four or top 8, and we'll fly to those when we qualify for those. So I don't know. I think each team is doing a few LAN events a year is our goal, 2 or 3 in-person events. But as a college student, your life gets pretty busy pretty quick. So yeah, I think anything more than that can be a little tough sometimes.
Yeah, and you mentioned before, like they also do some sort of queue on their own time. I mean, with the high level they have, I mean, they for sure they have to put in more hours than only 15 hours a week. Like the facilities on campus, are they open 24/7? There's a time limit. How does that work?
Our students have access to our facility as long as the student center is open. That's typically 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. They actually have keys, so they can like scan a little key fob and get in, even if the arena is not open to the public. They have access to it. So that's typically when they have access. We have the best internet on campus, the greatest gaming computers on campus. But almost all of them have really good computers and internet at their apartments or in their dorms. So they kind of mix and match between playing in the arena and playing at home.
Right, and are all students and all students go to the facilities, or it's only the students in the esports program? How does that work?
So we have 8 computers for just our athletes, and then we have 44 computers that are open to the public. So anybody can come in here and buy a membership. It is a pay-to-play space for the public. Our esports athletes do get free access to it. UCI students have to pay, and the public has to pay for the kind of public area.
That's great, Mark. That's great. Mark, I think you answered all my questions. Where can people find you and UCI Esports?
Yeah, look for UCI Esports on all the social medias, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, just at UCI Esports. You can find me on Twitter and other places at UCI Kaboom. That's my Twitter handle. I'm not as super active as our program is, but UCI Esports should be pretty easy to find. We'd love a follow. We've got a newsletter, lots of content. We put a lot of effort into engaging with folks. We'd love to have your friends and family pay attention to what we're doing and cheer us on.
That's great. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. I'm we stay in touch.
All right, take care.